Hey, hey, how are you ladies? Today I am Anita, and we are going to get started with day two of the Creating the Network to Get Promoted challenge. And you can do it in your lunch break. So if you are following, then you know that yesterday we talked about limiting beliefs, why you need to network, how the system works, and why networking increases your chances and accelerates promotions. We talked about how um, this is the advantage that previous generations or previous non-melanated generations have. And if we want to close the gap, we need to do what we've never done. And what we've been taught to do is to work really hard and keep our head down and not cause any trouble. And I'm not saying that you need to cause trouble. I'm saying people need to know you. Keeping your head down does not save you. Keeping your head down is almost more detrimental than people knowing you or you speaking up in a meeting, you advocating for yourself because you're easily forgettable. And so that means that you're a pawn on the chessboard and you are being moved around as it benefits someone else. And you are not getting what you need out of your day job, out of your career. Even if all you want to do is to have peace and harmony, make an impact, and do a good job at what you do every day, you still need to have relationships in order to achieve that. Okay. So today is day two. Day two, we're going to talk about who can help you achieve this. So, as homework from yesterday, your takeaway was to write down what was your goals for networking. So, let's say we'll use, I want to get promoted for today's example. And I wrote that down as my goal. Now, the next step is to ask who can help you get that promotion because in order to be strategic about networking, in order to not just be going to networking events and talking to other people and nothing come of it, we need to know that we're having the conversations with the right people, or we're having conversations with people that know the right people at a minimum. So if our goal is to get promoted, who do we need to talk to get promoted? Now, inside of CWL, inside of our Business and Leadership Institute, I talk about having multiple paths to a promotion. We always want to have multiple paths. So ideally, you would have 2 to 3 paths. And inside of the Institute, we work on how to map out each one of those paths and what that looks like. And then we prioritize them. For the sake of this challenge, I want you to pick the easiest path to a promotion. Now, let me tell you what those paths are. There can be a path to leave the organization and start your own thing. There can be a path to get promoted at another organization. There can be a path to get promoted inside of your current upline, so within your current leadership team. There can be a path to get promoted in your broader department. There can be a path to get promoted in your organization, right? So there's multiple ways to get promoted within an organization, whether it's in your team, depending on the size, whether it's in the department, or whether it's in the organization, right? Those are typically different people that you need to network with or that you need to have conversations and build relationships with to make that happen. The same goes for if you want to get promoted at another organization, or even if what you want to do is to start building the relationships to grow your business or to do your own thing externally, it still takes relationships. It still takes the ability to talk about yourself and to connect with people. Okay? So the goal that you set on day one was I'm going to get promoted in the example we're going to use for today. Today is day two. The question is, who can help you reach that goal? So who can help you get promoted? And this depends on the who of what you want. So in my case, I'm using promotions, but if what you want is more visibility, if what you want is just to not be in a toxic team, if what you want is something different, then apply what I'm saying to that. If you need help or if you're unsure who can help you, then again, get inside the pop-up group, ask me questions. I will answer them there for you. All right. when we are thinking about who to contact, one of the things that I want you to remember is don't put yourself in a box. So, what that means is there are lots of people who can help. And the first thing I want you to do is just make a list of the individuals or even the groups who could play a key role in helping you achieve your networking goals, right? And if you are looking for a promotion within your current organization, then the people you are looking for must be at least 2 levels above where you currently sit, and they must have the hiring capability. So we're not just looking for peers to talk to. We're not just looking for people with titles. We're looking for people who are at least 2 levels above where you currently sit. And they either have a lot of influence over people getting moved into promotional opportunities, or they hold that influence themselves, preferably the latter. The reason why is your boss can't help you get promoted unless they are getting promoted. Your boss can't help you get promoted unless they are getting promoted in your direct upline. So, realistically speaking, you want to be having skip level meetings. Skip level meetings is a way to network and build relationships. That is the point of it. The point is to get to know your leadership, for them to get to know you. And by doing so, by having skip levels, for those of you who may not know what a skip level is, it means you're skipping the person up right above you, and you're going to the next level of leadership or management, and you're getting to know them. And this is important a lot of times when it comes to, even if your boss is leaving, who will replace them? Who will, be next in the succession line, that sort of thing. And if your boss's boss doesn't know who you are, and depending on the relationship that your boss and his boss or her boss has, will also depend on if their word matters to them or not. And these are things that you want to understand in order to determine how much energy you invest in that upline. And so let me give you an example. As I was thinking about what I wanted to do next with my career, I had a boss, and this boss was a boss who was a baby boomer. And he was on like year 28, 29, 30 of his career with the company. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm not saying that this is true for all people, but when we get to having leaders who are getting close to retirement, and when I say getting close to retirement, I mean those leaders who are clear about, I just got 5 years or less. I'm just trying to do the rest of this time, honey. No problems. Get this paycheck and be done. Those are probably the least likely people to help you. Least likely people to help you. Now, there are some people that get to that place and are like, I want to do everything I can for anybody else. But here's the deal. You have to know how much power or influence they carry and why this matters. Because if they don't carry any power or influence, or if people don't like them, they can't help you. You actually want to remove or put distance between you being associated with them. So going back to that boss I had, he was he was he was a little bit out of his element. He was a really nice guy. He was really good at talking, I think, but for someone at his level, he was unequipped. And then he relocated from Detroit to Charlotte. Workplaces are very different between the banking industry or the corporate industry in Charlotte than it is in Detroit. It just is. How things operate are very different. Charlotte is a very big banking town, and it comes with a level of game you need to play, a level of being able to put together a presentation at his level. It came with some things that he didn't quite have the skill set for, or even had experience in his time, which means he was out of his depth. He was so much out of his depth that his boss didn't like him. Like, there were running jokes that people were having, and he did not have a clue that this was happening. But I did. So I had a skip level with his boss. And I remember in that skip level, his boss asking me when I was talking to him about my career, kind of what was going on, what was being said. And one of the first things he asked me was, had I talked to, my direct leader at the time? And I gave an honest answer because I needed to in that moment in order to get him to see that I had thought about it and that I did need his assistance or for him to give me the guidance I was seeking. And so he said, have you talked to your boss about it? And I said, respectfully, I can talk to him about it. But what I've seen is that because I have been here in Charlotte in this environment longer, I have a bigger network than he does. So from that perspective, he cannot help me because he's new to this environment and it's taken some time for him to build the level of relationships that we have with the leadership, the power players here in my city. So from there, he was able to give me his thoughts, right? Because he was trying to be careful to not skip over my boss or to give insight that was counter to my boss, even though I knew he didn't like him. And what it also said was, I'm aware that you don't like him without saying I'm aware that you don't like him. So I'm not about to take his word for it. Because essentially, if your boss's boss does not like your boss, we're all guilty by association. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So you have to know who your power players are. You have to hold your head up, sis. You got to lift your head up from, that deliverable. You have to hold your head up and watch what's going on around you. When you go into meetings, you have to watch and read the room. When you go into a meeting, start paying attention to where the power sits. That is a very helpful way to determine who you might need to go meet. So that's tip one. And so you want to be finding where is the power, because whatever you want to happen can likely happen if you're talking to the right person. And those people who tell you, oh, that can't happen until they just don't have enough power. And you've seen it. You've seen how when they said, oh, promotions don't happen until this time of year, that time of year. But then you see someone get promoted in a reorg, or you see someone get promoted off schedule, or they say that all jobs have to be posted, but it's posted for like 30 seconds and then it's taken down because they've already decided who was going to get that role. They're just posting it for legalities. You've all seen these things. And this is how it's working. If you're looking for a promotional opportunity, you have to have the relationships to know about that opportunity before it posts. So therefore, one of the takeaways for today is strategic networking and relationship building is not negotiable. It's not optional. You have been playing with it like it is. And therefore, it means that you have to work 10 times as hard to even get recognized because I don't know you. And I'm certainly not about to back you if I don't know you. I'm certainly not about to mentor you if I don't know you. Okay, other ways that you can get who is your person is if you're in an organization, most mid-sized to large organizations have an internal hierarchy, right? Where you can go in and if you're looking for someone, let's say we'll start with the CEO, you can see their down structure and you can keep clicking to keep going down. That is another way that you can find who can help you. So if you want to move from, let's say, tech to HR, you want to go to if you know the name of your chief HR person, start there and work your way down, right? See who reports to the C-suite and then pick which section or which department you want to go to and work down into your 2 levels above where you are now and reach out to that person. Now, don't get ahead of yourself. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about what to say in order to reach out. So don't worry, I got you. Today, I just want you to decide the who. Who do you need to talk to go back to day 1 to achieve your goal? I promise when we get to the end of the week, all the days connect. So they're building on each other. Yesterday was decide on the goal. Today is who can help you with that goal. Stay there. Stay with me. Whatever questions you have, make sure you write them down. And if I don't get to them in the coming days, jump into the pop-up group and ask me your questions. And I will answer them. I'm there. Okay? So you can go into your company's directory, find your person that way. You can find your person by going to networking events. But if you're going to a networking event, you want to be specific about the networking event. So this evening, I'll be going to a networking event, and it's called the Leadership Roundtable. And it will be it's an intimate group of 8 to 10 other women who have some type of either executive presence in a corporation, or they are business owners here in my city, such as I am. Right. And it's a way for me to network with others to see where we can partner, because partnerships grows businesses just like they grow careers and a corporate environment. Okay. So you can do it that way. But we're not just going to any random thing. If you have something that's happening with your team, then make it your business to pick one person that you need to say hi to, that you need to, grab a moment to have 3 to 5 minutes of a conversation with, and just get to know them a little better, and also let them get to know you. You don't have to overthink this. You don't have to do a lot of work. Just who can help you meet your goal, and where can you possibly find them? That's all I'm asking you to do for today. Because the where you can possibly find them will help shape what you're going to say and when you're going to say it. Okay. You can also go to LinkedIn. All right. So for this part, I will share my screen just to give you some examples of how you can also use LinkedIn to find your person. All right, so on my screen, I currently have my own personal LinkedIn up, and I am going to, let's say I'm in the process of looking for a job or a promotional opportunity, and the path that I'm choosing is to look externally. Now, my experiences in risk management, or some of my experiences in risk management, so I'm going to click on third-party risk management jobs. And we're waiting for my pretty computer to come up. As I'm looking for these jobs, I would be looking for higher level roles in this, so I might not come here. If you're looking for something director or over the director level, then there's some other options that you might take that might prove more useful. But let's say we're working director down. So I'm looking at these jobs, and for some of them, we'll use USAA as an example. USAA has a new facility location here in Charlotte that's pretty big. And if you're looking at my screen, you'll see that 63 people that I used to work with work at USAA. So this particular role I'm looking at is a senior manager type role. But what I'm more wanting to do is to look at who I'm connected with that works here. And if I know them well enough to reach out to them to get it in, right? So I'm using my LinkedIn to tell me where I am connected to people who currently work at this company, so that I can find a way to get in, or I can find out who's the hiring manager, or I can find out, is this a team I want to work on? I can find out information from here. So I see that there's 3 people that I'm directly connected with, but overall, somewhere in my LinkedIn up and down line, there are 65 people, because I know we think that industry is big, but if you've been in the industry a while, it's small, and people are connected even across the country. And again, Charlotte is a heavy banking town, and people just kind of move from bank to bank. They just move. We have more banks here than we had before, but people just kind of move around. So let's see. In my first line, we have, we're in my second line in the screen. So we have several people in my second line who are attached some way to people in my first line. So if I'm right here, you'll see I have somebody named Ken R. Wiggins. They are attached to, we'll use Reggie Willis. Reggie Willis is the Chief Diversity Officer at Ally Bank, and he is a mentor of mine. So Reggie is what I call a super connector. A super connector is someone that knows all the people. So you may not know the person or you may not know the hiring manager, but if you can find a super connector and you have a level of relationship with them, you can reach out to your super connector. So I could call Reggie. There's not too many people that don't know Reggie in the city. Um, yeah, he's from around here. His family is known. Lots of people know him. Again, he's the chief diversity officer. Um, and if you go to LinkedIn, you'll see him in a lot of places. So I could use him. I could reach out to him. You see, he's connected with other people in my upline. You also see here that at USAA, there's an executive, Jack Lang. And when I look at Jack as an executive in third party risk management, which means that role likely reports up to him or he knows it, I see two previous people that I have strong connections with. Norris Raper was my boss at one point. He is also someone who's been in this environment in the Charlotte area. He grew up outside of Charlotte. He has connections. Larry Bramble was my very first mentor. He is how I learned how to do a number of things. He taught me about banking. He, if he was to ask him, would tell you that I was successful because he mentored and molded me and created the career that I've had. Right. So therefore, I know I could reach out to him too. So this is what I want you to be looking at. If you're going to use LinkedIn, you can use LinkedIn in all capacities. If you go to your company organization directory and you don't know the person, you can then come to LinkedIn to research them. Look at their LinkedIn profile. Where did they go to school? Right? Who else that knows them that you know? Can you get some background information on them? Are they the type of person that you want to get to know? When I went to Ally, I had not a panel interview, but like 5 to 6 people to interview. And I was able to give one of the guys that I worked with in my previous company the names, and he knew every one of them. So he gave me the rundown on everybody that I would meet. So then when I went in the interview, I knew them. I knew their likes, their dislikes. I knew kind of what to say because of it. I knew that for one of them, we were either going to like each other or hate each other. Like there was not going to be any in between because of our personalities. Right. This is the information that gives you an advantage. This is the information that tells you how you can influence someone to choose you as the person who gets promoted, to choose you as the person that gets the job. Because at the end of the day, what fit means is if I can see myself working with you. And everyone, me, you, have a bias for what's familiar, for what feels comfortable, for what feels easy, for what comes more natural to them. So when we think about fit isn't just about they look like me. Fit is about I see myself in them. They remind me of myself, or we had a great conversation talking about our dogs. Fit is about those type of things. So you can use LinkedIn to do further research on who can help you. Looking to see where they've worked, maybe if there are other people saying that they were a great leader for them and things like that down in LinkedIn is also helpful. All right, so I am going to wrap it up here because we're almost at time. To wrap us up, when you think about who do you need to talk to help you reach your goal in the example for today of getting promoted? I want you to gather information on those professionals who align with that. I want you to pick 2 people. And I want you to do this today because we want to have this information before we reach out with an initial connection. This will allow us to personalize the outreach and make it an informed conversation when we have a conversation with the people. Yes, we're going to reach out, but we're going to do it together. No worries. Stay with me. Stay on the step. And we want to target those who can provide insights, opportunities, or mentorship to help you reach your goal. So again, if it's in your current organization, make sure there are 2 pay grades, 2 levels, depending on how your organization defines that, above you, and you ideally want them to have hiring abilities. And then you can use LinkedIn, you can use your company website, you can use industry news to learn about their backgrounds depending on their levels. You can use interests that you guys have. You can use recent volunteer experiences at work, whatever it is that will help you provide commonality and common ground. Maybe they have written an article on LinkedIn and you'll use that as a way to reach out to them. Maybe you saw them at an internal town hall and you were so inspired. Like, listen, we're not trying to be difficult about it. Pick two people, find what you can about them. If you need support with this, get inside of the pop-up group. The link is in the show notes or in the email, wherever you are watching or listening to this replay, and I will help you come up with it. The whole goal or whole point of this is that you don't have to do it alone. And if we do it together, you'll have more confidence as you reach out. Inside of CWL, our members have done this. We have done it together. I actually have a whole course that walks you step by step through every step from coming up with a goal for strategic networking to turning it into a full-on relationship that you can leverage. So come get assistance if you need assistance. That's what I'm there for. All right, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will talk about what to say to the people that you identify today. So make sure you do today's takeaway. I'll see you then.